Hello my dear friends and welcome to StudyIQ. I am Joycey Joy and today in this lecture we will discuss about Global Corruption Index. Now coming to the current affair, India stood at the position 78 globally among 180 countries according to the annual index which was published by the Transparency International. So Global Corruption Index or CPI, that is Corruption Perception Index, is a publication by Transparency International which publishes the index annually, and India has stood at 78th position by making improvements by 3 points. So last year the rank of India was 81 and this year it has come down to 78. So this is the current affair, and based on this we will see what are the highlights in the Global Corruption Index report, and also we will see which are the top countries, bottom countries, the status of India. We will also see the report conclusion by the Transparency International. But before we begin the lecture, I'd like to tell you that StudyIQ is providing pen drive courses for all competitive examinations including SSC, bank courses, UPSC optionals, SSC JE courses, teaching courses, railway examination, defense examination, RBI grade B, NABARD, UGC NET, UPSC Civil Services Examination, law examinations, state PSCs, and for various professional courses. You can find more details on our website www.studyiq.com, or please make a call to any of these numbers for more information. Now coming to the major highlights of CPI, that is Corruption Perception Index, which is published by the Transparency International. So the first major highlight is that India rose by 3 points to a rank of 78 in 2018 Corruption Perception Index. So last year, that is in 2017, the rank of India was 81. So it has made a 3-point improvement, and the score also increased from 40 to 41, which we will discuss in detail later in this lecture regarding the score of India. The second major highlight, China slipped by 10 ranks. That is, now the rank of China is 87. Last year it was 77. And thirdly, United States fell from 16 to 22. So in case of China and US, there is a slip in the ranks, but India improved by 3 points or by 3 ranks. So these are the major highlights of the report. Now moving on, let us understand which are the top countries or top performers of this report. The first one is Denmark and second is New Zealand. Denmark has a score of 88. So the total score is from 0 to 100. So this is the scale, and maximum score for a country would be 100. So Denmark has scored 88 out of 100 and New Zealand with a score of 87 out of 100. So these are the top countries. Now moving to the countries that are in the bottom of the list. 3 countries are Somalia, Syria and South Sudan. So Somalia has got a score of 10, Syria score of 13 and South Sudan also the same score of 13. So the score ranges from 0 to 100, and the top performers would be getting near to 100 and the least performers close to 0. So Somalia, Syria and South Sudan are the 3 countries that are in the bottom of the list of this CPI or the Corruption Perception Index. Now coming to the status of India. India has increased by 3 points. That is, the rank of India has improved by 3. Last year the rank was 81. Now it has become 78. So the rank has increased by 3 points. But coming to the score has been made a very little significant improvement. That means the last year when the rank was 81, the score was 40. Now when the rank is 78, the score increased marginally from 40 to 41. So we can say that there is no significant improvement in the score of India. And the average score globally is 43. So we can say that India is below the average. And the main reason for this non-significant improvement in the score is because of an absence of a specialist anti-corruption infrastructure. Now let us understand what is CPI or what is Corruption Perceptions Index. So the CPI or Corruption Perceptions Index ranks 180 countries. And the ranking is based on the levels of public sector corruption. So it takes into account the government or the public sector corruption. And the score is given on a scale of 0 to 100. So 0 means highly corrupt and 100 means the best performer in terms of corruption. So even the best performing country, Denmark, has got a score of 88. That means they have got to make improvement in various other parameters. And this index is an annual publication of Transparency International. So such facts are important for your UPSC prelims examination. In the past few years, you will see that UPSC would give you the name of a report and they would ask you the publisher or who is the publisher of the report. So if a question is asked on CPI or Corruption Perceptions Index, your answer should be Transparency International. And it is also an annual publication. So please remember these points. Now coming to Transparency International, let us understand it in brief. It is an international non-governmental organization which is based in Berlin, Germany. And it was founded in the year 1993. It is a non-profit organization. And the objective of Transparency International is to take action to combat global corruption. So it aims to take measures or come out with recommendations that will combat corruption at the global level. And two important publications are made by Transparency International. One which we are discussing, that is a CPI, that is Corruption Perceptions Index, and the second one is Corruption Barometer or Global Corruption Barometer. So these are certain facts regarding Transparency International which will be helpful for your UPSC preliminary examination. Now moving on, let us understand what are the report conclusion or what are the conclusion remarks given by the Transparency International. The first one, it has highlighted the fact that most countries have failed to significantly control corruption. So there is failure in controlling corruption in a majority of countries among this 180 countries. Secondly, a failure in controlling corruption has resulted in creating a crisis in democracy around the world. So crisis in democracy in the sense that democracy is the government which is elected by the people and which works for the people. So this people's sovereignty is in crisis whenever there is corruption reported in certain countries. So the democratic values are being diluted when the corruption rate increases. And this democratic value essentially means the sovereignty of people. For example, if a citizen has to get something done, he or she may have to bribe a government officer. So this is a case of corruption or bribery. So here, in order to avail the service, which is the right of the citizen, he has to bribe that particular officer. So this has led to the dilution of democratic values. Here there is no value for the sovereignty of the people. So in that sense, it has caused a crisis in democracy all over the world. And thirdly, the report highlights that most countries are failing to make serious inroads against corruption. That means the actions or measures taken by countries in order to combat corruption or to bring down corruption is very less. So most of the countries do not take any significant measures to combat corruption. And it also says that around 2/3 of the countries score below 50. So 50 is half the score. It is out of a total 100. So 2/3 of the countries score less than 50 on the score scale of 0 to 100. And the average global score is 43. And if we compare this with India's score, which is 41, we will see that our country is well below the global average in case of corruption. So corruption rates are higher in India. So these are certain conclusion remarks given by Transparency International in this year's report. The topic corruption is very important for your UPSC Civil Service Examination. It can be asked in your GS Paper 1, GS Paper 2 and GS Paper 4. GS Paper 1 under Social Issues, GS Paper 2 under Governance and GS Paper 4 Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude. So very important topic. So you can give your recommendations based on the report. And you can find a PDF of this lecture on my Facebook page. And for any queries regarding your preparations, you can get in touch with me on my Facebook page or you can email me at joyce.studiiq@gmail.com. Thank you.